Why haven't home prices fallen in 2020? Will they continue to increase or will they fall in the future? What will impact home prices over the next 10 years? Hi, I'm Nick Shah. I'm the managing partner of a private equity firm called Home LLC. We invest in residential real estate across the United States. Predicting home prices is our day job. And today, I'll reveal some of our secrets. In order to predict the future, we must first understand the past. Let us take a look at why home prices crashed around 2008. First things first, we'll be focusing on price, not values. Price is what you're willing to pay. Value is what you get in return. Price is typically a dollar amount, whereas value could be emotional. Economics 101. Home prices are a factor of supply and demand. Remember this, as we'll keep coming back to this. Supply in home prices is a function of how many homes are available to be sold, whereas demand is a function of how many people can afford to buy those homes. We'll analyze both supply and demand to understand how home prices are impacted. However, supply in residential real estate is unique. Unlike other industries, supply of homes is irreversible. Most homes cannot be destroyed once they're built. In that way, supply is very inelastic, and that matters a lot. To understand why home prices crashed around 2008, let's rewind the clock to 2006. In the 31 years prior to 2006, home prices had never really crashed at a national level. This is the home price index from 1975 to 2006, and you can see that prices increased by almost 5.9% annually. A home in 2006 had grown almost sixfold in price from the 30 years since 1975. So naturally, people believed that home prices would never crash. And people didn't want to be left behind. As a result, everyone started building new construction. Supply didn't want to be left behind. In the 15 years from 91 to 2006, supply almost doubled. We went from building 1 million units a year in 1996 to 2 million units a year in just 15 years. When we reached the summer of '06, something changed. Banks decided to stop issuing these risky mortgages, and that hit the brakes on demand. People had already gotten risky mortgages on homes that they could not afford. And in some cases, people owned third, second, and third homes with these risky mortgages. A lot of these people ended up having to foreclose their home as soon as prices fell just a little bit. This increased the supply in the market that fell prices that led to even more foreclosures, and home prices completely collapsed. As you can see, the National Home Price Index went down by 25% from its highs in 2006. And in some cases, in some areas, home prices were down as low as 50%. However, supply is a freight train. It's hard to stop supply. On top of these foreclosures, new construction did not stop hitting the market till 2010. And that is why home prices did not stop falling till 2012. A healthy supply of inventory in the market is considered at 6 months. If you have 6 months of inventory available for sale, if new supply stops, it's considered healthy. It reached a peak of 12 months in 2009 and never really came back down to healthy levels till 2012. So major learning from why home prices fall is that supply is risky and has a major impact on home prices. Demand can rise or fall, but home prices will dramatically fall if supply overshoots demand. So understanding supply is the key to understanding home prices. Supply has some unique characteristics. Number one, New supply takes a long time to reach the market, anywhere from 3 to 6 years. So it reacts in a delayed way. Number two, supply follows a herd mentality. If people get bullish about a certain neighborhood or a certain city, a lot of people tend to build in those areas. And number three, supply either behaves in fear or frenzy. People get really bullish. They don't really wait and check to see if there's going to be oversupply in an area. They just don't want to miss out. This will help us understand the present. Why home prices didn't crash in 2020.